What if everything you've ever believed about death was wrong? What if death isn't an end, not a void, not a mystery left to faith or fear, but something else, something far more structured, far more real? For over 1,000 years, hidden from the eyes of the ordinary, and preserved only for the most spiritually awakened, there has existed a forbidden manuscript. It doesn't offer vague metaphors or poetic comfort. It gives a map, a step-by-step guide to what happens in the first 49 days after your final breath. This ancient text, known as the Tibetan Book of the Dead, was never meant for the masses. It was written for those few who dared to face the truth without fear, those willing to understand that death is not the end, but the beginning of a trial. This trial determines everything. Whether you escape the endless cycle of birth and death, or whether you're pulled back into it, reborn, memory erased, consciousness trapped once more in the illusion of life. Most people fail, not because they are weak, but because they are blind. They don't realize what's happening. They don't understand that everything they see, hear, and feel after death is not real. It's all a projection of their own mind. And by the time they begin to understand, it's already too late. If what this ancient manuscript says is true, then the first moments after death are more important than the entire life you just lived. Everything begins with a single, silent instant, the moment you leave your body. Your heart stops, your lungs cease, but your mind it keeps going. You won't feel pain. You won't feel fear, at least not yet. Instead, you'll feel something strange, something familiar, yet uncanny, like waking from a dream you didn't know you were dreaming. You'll feel light, weightless, as if floating outside yourself. There will be no heartbeat, no breath, but you'll still be, still aware, still conscious. If you've ever had an out-of-body experience, this will feel eerily familiar. But unlike a dream or a vision, there's no coming back this time. There is no return. And then it happens. A light, blinding, pure, overwhelming, not just bright, absolute. It will shine with such intensity that your sense of self will begin to dissolve into it. According to the Tibetan Book of the Dead, this is called the clear light of reality, the true nature of existence, unobscured by illusion. If, in that moment, you recognize it, if you let go and fully surrender to it, it will merge with you. You will become it. Enlightenment will occur in an instant. The cycle of birth and death, samsara, will shatter. You will transcend. You will be free. But hardly anyone ever recognizes it. Why? Because we've been conditioned to fear the unknown, conditioned to cling. The soul panics. It grabs hold of its memories, its identity, its unfulfilled desires. And instead of merging with the light, it turns away. And in the moment, fear arises. The illusions begin. You'll start hearing things, whispers, echoes of familiar voices. They sound almost like people you once knew. But they're distorted, distant, like hearing them from the other side of a thick curtain. The light dims, the forms return. Shadows, shapes, shifting visions begin to take its place. Places you once knew, faces you once loved, people who seem real, too real to be dreams. But none of it is real. Not yet. Your mind, desperate for meaning, starts to create. It projects what it knows. It forms what is familiar. And that's where most souls become trapped, caught in the confusion, searching for comfort in illusion, and drawing closer and deeper into the bardo, the space between death and rebirth. In the bardo, everything you experience is a reflection of your own consciousness. That's the terrifying truth. You are not entering a shared realm or being judged by an outside force. You are walking through a mirror of yourself. For the unprepared, the journey through the bardo is chaotic and overwhelming. But for the aware, it is the final opportunity to awaken. This interdimensional state lasts 49 days, according to the sacred texts. 49 days filled with visions, trials, and encounters that will either liberate you or bind you once again to another lifetime. Before we delve deeper into what lies ahead, know this. Some truths about the afterlife cannot be spoken openly. They must be remembered. And now, your journey through the bardo begins. You are no longer alive, but you are not dead either. You are between. Time no longer works the same way. Seconds stretch into eternity, and days pass like seconds. You have no body, no voice, only awareness. But here's the catch. Most people don't even realize they've died. They're still clinging to the life they once had, haunting their old homes, reaching for loved ones who can no longer see or hear them. At first, it's confusing. The soul tries to return to its former routines, to speak, to be noticed. But no one responds. No one hears. Slowly, the realization sinks in. This is not a dream. This is death. But the mind resists. It clings to identity, desperately seeking logic, comfort, something to explain what's happening. But the bardo offers none of that. It's not a resting place. It's a mirror, a crucible, a test. In the beginning, the bardo is neutral, even peaceful. You float through what feels like a vast, empty space. No pain, no suffering, just consciousness. Some describe this phase as drifting through an ocean of thought, boundless, quiet, limitless. Then the visions begin. They start soft, gentle, beautiful. You see radiant beings, figures made of light and love. Some may resemble angels, enlightened masters, or gods. They glow with warmth. Their presence is peaceful. They offer guidance, a path toward transcendence. But here's the secret. These beings aren't real either. They are you, reflections of your highest self. If you recognize this, if you realize what they are, you can merge with them and ascend. You will dissolve into a higher consciousness and escape the cycle of reincarnation once and for all. But most don't. They hesitate. They doubt. And in that moment of doubt, everything changes. The light beings fade. Their forms distort. Their smiles twist. Their voices become whispers of fear. What was once paradise becomes a shadowed nightmare. This is the trial of illusions. The terrifying figures that appear now, monsters, demons, grotesque shapes, are not external enemies. They are projections of your guilt, your regrets, your fears. They are your shadow self, made visible and alive by your own mind. The Tibetan Book of the Dead makes it clear. These aren't punishments. They are reflections, and they only gain power if you believe in them. The more fear you feel, the stronger they become. The more you resist, the more real they seem. You can run, scream, hide, but you cannot escape, because you're not being chased by something outside. You're running from yourself. Only those who understand can break free. Understand what? That none of it is real. That these horrors are not enemies to be feared, but illusions to be seen through. The moment you stop fearing them, they vanish, like smoke, like shadows in sunlight. But very few realize this. They're too lost in panic. This is the second great trial of the afterlife. The first was the clear light, a test of awareness. The second is the illusions, a test of inner mastery. Those who fail are pulled deeper into the bardo, further into the cycle of karma, closer to rebirth. And the journey does not end there. After the horrors subside, something unexpected happens. Silence. A calm descends. You think maybe the nightmare is over. But then it begins again. Not with demons, not with visions, but with memory. A new experience overtakes you, vivid, overwhelming, and unavoidable. You begin to relive your life, every moment, every choice. Not from your perspective, but from the perspective of those you affected. You feel everything. Every joy you gave, every pain you caused, every word spoken in kindness or in cruelty. This is not judgment. There is no divine court, no God weighing your sins. There is only you facing the totality of yourself. It's called the Great Mirror, and there's nowhere to hide. For many, this is the most painful part of the bardo, not because of punishment, but because of clarity. You see, with perfect awareness, what your life truly was. Not the story you told yourself, not the excuses or justifications, just the raw truth. This phase lasts as long as it needs to. Some souls face it with humility. Others resist, deny, or collapse under its weight. And then, as the 49 days draw to an end, the final stage begins. The pull of the world begins to return. The cycle starts to close. If you've failed to awaken, failed to transcend, the karmic forces draw you back toward a new life. And you won't remember. You'll forget everything. The light, the trials, the truth, even your identity. You'll be reborn, not as a punishment, but as another opportunity. But if during these 49 days you recognized the illusions, if you faced your fears, remembered your true nature, and let go, you will not return. You will awaken. You will transcend, and the cycle will be broken. So, the question is this: when you die, will you be ready? Because death is not the end. It is the final test, and your soul already holds the answers.